There is a truth most people avoid. Chasing pleasure alone leaves you empty. It feels good for a moment, then fades. Why? Because pleasure is temporary. It gives quick highs but no lasting joy. You crave more but the emptiness stays. Every day you seek small pleasures. You wake up and check your phone. Notifications, social media, messages. Each like or funny video gives a brief smile, but soon the joy is gone. You reach for more distractions, more scrolling, more noise. This endless chase is the pleasure trap. It keeps you stuck in short-term highs. True happiness never comes from this. True happiness is deeper. It lasts longer than a fleeting feeling. Comes from meaning and connection. Think of pleasure like a spark. Bright but brief. Happiness is like a steady flame. Warm and enduring. Our culture teaches us to avoid pain. To seek comfort at all costs. To want to feel good all the time. Ads push us to consume more. To buy quick fixes and easy escapes. Social media is designed to keep you hooked. You think you relax, but really you are trapped. Even food can be part of the trap. Sugary, salty, fatty snacks give fast pleasure. But soon cravings return stronger. Let me tell you about Jake. He works hard all day. After work he wants to relax. He opens his phone and scrolls social media. Funny videos make him laugh. Feels good for a moment. But next day he feels tired and empty. Jake is stuck in the pleasure trap. Seeking comfort but feeling worse. This is common. Pleasure seems like freedom, but it can be a cage. You may ask, if pleasure is natural, why does it feel wrong sometimes? Because balance matters. Pleasure itself is not bad. It is part of a healthy life. The problem is when pleasure is the only goal. When you use comfort to avoid pain. When you escape reality instead of facing it. Constant comfort blocks growth. It stops true joy and fulfillment. Pain and discomfort are part of life. They teach us strength and wisdom. Without pain, no courage. No resilience. No growth. Pleasure alone is shallow. It cannot heal or build character. But facing pain brings strength, meaning, freedom. Pleasure and pain go together. Both are needed for a full life. You must stop running from pain. Stop numbing yourself with quick pleasure. Feel your emotions. Face your fears. Heal your wounds. This is where happiness begins. Remember, pleasure is a visitor. Happiness is a home. Don't settle for moments. Build a life with meaning. Find joy that lasts. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Ask yourself, what am I really seeking in pleasure? The answer may surprise you. Here is an example of addictive distractions. Sarah feels lonely after work. Instead of facing it, she turns on a streaming app. She binge watches episodes. The story pulls her in. She forgets her loneliness for a while. But when the screen goes dark, loneliness returns. The distraction was a bandage, not a cure. Culture trains us this way. Seek comfort, avoid pain. If you want freedom, break the cycle. Sit with discomfort. Find meaning beyond pleasure. Then you will live awake. Then you will find real happiness. There is a hidden truth about pleasure. It often hides pain beneath its surface. You may chase pleasure to feel better, to escape sadness, fear, or anxiety, but this only covers the pain. It does not heal it. Imagine a wound covered by a bandage. The wound is still there under the cover. If you don't clean and treat it, it worsens. Pleasure acts like that bandage. It distracts you from pain. It makes the hurt less obvious. But inside, the pain grows. Avoiding pain is a natural reaction. No one wants to suffer, but burying pain makes it stronger. Pain hides in your body and mind. It shows up as anxiety, restlessness, or numbness. It whispers through your fears and doubts. You might not even know it's there. You only feel a need for pleasure. Why? Because pleasure feels safe. It's a quick fix, a way to calm your mind. But real healing is different. It requires facing discomfort. It means sitting with hard feelings, allowing yourself to feel pain fully. This is scary. Pain is uncomfortable. But this discomfort is the doorway to growth. When you face your pain, you bring it into the light. You understand it. You begin to heal it. Without this step, healing stalls. The pain stays buried, waiting to burst out in other ways. Let me share a story about Alex. Alex suffers from anxiety. When worries flood his mind, he turns to pleasure for relief. He eats sweets. He watches funny videos. He plays video games for hours. These things calm him for a while. But the anxiety never leaves. It waits quietly. One night, his anxiety overwhelmed him. He felt trapped and exhausted. He realized distraction was not enough. Alex made a choice. He began to face his anxiety. He practiced breathing through panic. He wrote down his fears. It was painful at first, but over time, his anxiety lessened. He gained control. He found peace beyond quick pleasures. Alex learned that pleasure hides pain. Only by facing pain can you heal. This is the path to freedom. Culture teaches you to avoid pain, to seek pleasure instead. But this is a lie. True strength comes from courage, from walking through the fire. If you want real joy, you must be willing to feel pain. Don't cover your wounds with temporary fixes. Heal them with attention and care. Your soul needs truth, not escape. Pleasure is not the enemy. Pain is not the enemy. Both are part of life's balance. Choose healing over hiding. Choose growth over comfort. Only then will you find lasting happiness. Ask yourself, what pain am I hiding behind pleasure? What truths am I afraid to face? The answers are the keys to your freedom. It won't be easy, but it will be real, and it will change your life. There is a quiet secret about pleasure that many don't want to admit. Pleasure often hides pain beneath its surface. You may think pleasure brings happiness, but sometimes it just masks deeper wounds. When life hurts, you seek comfort. You look for things that make you feel good. A sweet taste, a funny video, a thrill, a distraction. These moments feel like relief, but they don't touch the root of your pain. Imagine pain as a deep river beneath a thin ice layer. Pleasure is like stepping carefully on that ice. It holds for a while, but it can break at any moment. Avoiding pain doesn't make it disappear. It only pushes it down deeper inside you. That buried pain grows. It shapes your moods. It controls your fears. It drains your energy. When you ignore your wounds, they silently affect your life. Your relationships feel strained. Your motivation fades. Your happiness seems fragile and short-lived. Why is it so hard to face pain? Pain is uncomfortable. It's scary. It reminds you of loss, failure, loneliness. It makes you feel vulnerable. So you turn to pleasure. It's easier to distract yourself, to escape into comfort. But here is the truth. Real healing demands discomfort. Healing is not a quick fix. It's not a constant chase for pleasure. It requires courage. The courage to sit with your pain, to acknowledge it without running away. Only when you face pain directly can you begin to understand it. Can you release its grip on you? Let me tell you about Mark. Mark suffered from anxiety. He was constantly worried. His mind raced with what-ifs. He felt trapped in a storm of fear. To cope, Mark used pleasure to escape. He binge-watched shows for hours. He ordered comfort food late at night. He scrolled endlessly through social media. These distractions numbed his anxiety, but only for a short time. At night, when the noise stopped, the fear returned stronger. He felt more alone than ever. One day Mark decided to change. He realized that running from anxiety wasn't helping. He began to practice mindfulness. He learned to breathe through panic attacks. He journaled his thoughts and feelings. It was painful at first. He faced fears he had buried for years. Slowly, Mark noticed changes. The anxiety lost its power. He felt calmer, more grounded, more free. Mark discovered that pleasure alone could not heal him. Healing came from facing pain honestly. This is a hard lesson many avoid. Our culture teaches us to seek comfort, to avoid discomfort at all costs. Follow your bliss, they say. Do what feels good. But true bliss is deeper than surface pleasure. It comes from meaning, from growth, from courage. If you only chase comfort, you trap yourself in a cycle of temporary highs, followed by deeper lows. Pleasure can soothe, but it cannot cure. Healing requires you to sit with pain, to feel your emotions fully, to face your wounds with kindness. This is how you grow stronger, how you find real freedom. Ask yourself, what pain am I hiding behind pleasure? What feelings am I afraid to face? Your answers hold the key to your healing. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because beyond the pain is peace. Beyond the discomfort is growth. Beyond the struggle is true joy. Choose healing over hiding. Choose courage over comfort. And you will discover a life richer than any pleasure can offer. There is a truth about pain that few are ready to accept. Suffering is not your enemy. It is a teacher, a guide, a call to awaken. Most people try to fight pain, to run from it, to numb it. But what if pain holds a hidden gift? What if suffering can lead to growth, to strength, to deeper meaning? This shift in perspective is hard. It asks you to stop resisting, to stop blaming. Instead, it asks you to look pain in the eye, to listen to what it wants to teach you. Pain shows you your limits, but also your potential. It reveals what matters most, what you need to change. When you accept suffering, you stop being its victim. You start becoming its master. Acceptance is not giving up. It's saying, this is real. This is part of my story. This mindset changes everything. You begin to see hardship as a path, not a dead end. You find purpose in your struggle. You find meaning in your scars. Discipline plays a crucial role here. Discipline is the bridge. It connects pain to progress. When you face suffering with discipline, you don't collapse under its weight. You rise through it. You build routines that support healing. You practice patience. You stay committed to growth. Think of discipline as your anchor in the storm. It keeps you steady. It keeps you moving forward. And acceptance is the sail. It catches the winds of change. It guides you toward new horizons. Together, discipline and acceptance transform pain. They turn it from a burden into a source of power. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah lost her job unexpectedly. The shock left her feeling lost and scared. She worried about her future. Her confidence shattered. At first, she tried to ignore her pain. She distracted herself with late-night TV. She avoided thinking about what happened. But the anxiety grew louder. Her avoidance made her feel helpless. Then Sarah made a choice. She chose to face her pain honestly. She allowed herself to feel the fear and sadness. But she didn't stop there. Sarah created a plan. She set small goals. She updated her resume. She practiced new skills daily. Even on the hard days, she stayed disciplined. This commitment gave her strength. It gave her hope. It showed her she was not defined by loss. Slowly, Sarah rebuilt her life. She found a new job, one that fit her better, one that made her feel alive. Her suffering became the fuel for her transformation. This story is not unique. Many who endure hardship discover unexpected gifts. Pain teaches resilience. Pain reveals courage. Pain opens the door to self-discovery. When you learn to find meaning in pain, you reclaim your power. You stop being controlled by circumstances. You start creating your own path. This is the essence of true freedom. It's not the absence of pain. It's the mastery of it. Ask yourself, what lessons can my pain teach me? How can I turn hardship into strength? Where can I practice discipline today? How can I accept what is without giving up? The answers may surprise you, because inside every struggle lies a seed waiting to grow into something new. Nurture that seed with discipline and acceptance, and watch your pain become your greatest teacher. This journey is not easy, but it is worth every step, because when you find meaning in pain, you discover your true self, stronger, wiser, freer. Pleasure is often misunderstood. Most people think of pleasure as a quick hit, a burst of dopamine, a rush, a distraction. But there is a deeper kind of pleasure, one that doesn't fade fast, one that fills you up, not empties you out. This is true pleasure. True pleasure is rooted in meaning, not escape, not avoidance. It grows when you are fully present, when you engage with life's richness, even in the simplest moments. Pleasure born from purpose is more lasting. It nourishes your soul. It reconnects you to what matters. Think about a moment when you truly felt joy. Not a party, not a binge watch, but a quiet moment. Maybe a walk in nature, a warm cup of tea, a deep conversation. Those moments hold true pleasure, because you were not running. You were not hiding. You were fully there. Presence is the key to unlocking this kind of joy. When your mind is still, when your senses are awake, you feel more alive. Purpose also matters. When your actions connect to what you value, pleasure deepens. You feel satisfaction beyond fleeting highs. This pleasure fuels motivation. It inspires growth. It creates a sense of peace. How do you cultivate this true pleasure? First, practice mindfulness. Slow down. Breathe. Notice the details around you. Feel the textures, sounds, smells. Notice how your body feels. This trains your brain to savor the present. Second, connect with your values. Ask, what matters most to me? How do I want to spend my time? Choose activities that align with your purpose. Third, simplify. Cut down distractions. Choose quality over quantity. Enjoy fewer things more deeply. Let me share an example. James, a busy executive, felt burnt out. He chased pleasure through work, gadgets, travel. But he always felt unsatisfied. James started a daily practice. Each morning he sat quietly with his coffee. No phone, no noise. He focused on the warmth of the cup, the aroma, the silence around him. At first, it was hard. His mind wanted to rush, to plan, to distract. But he persisted. Gradually, these moments became his sanctuary, his true pleasure. He also reconnected with his love for painting. Not to create masterpieces, but to enjoy the process. These changes grounded him, gave him joy that didn't depend on external things. James's story shows that pleasure is not about more. It's about depth, about presence, about meaning. When you root pleasure in who you are, it transforms your experience. You stop chasing highs. You start living fully. This does not mean you reject fun or relaxation. It means you choose them consciously. You enjoy them without losing yourself. True pleasure is a gift you give yourself, a gift that lasts. It invites you to slow down, to savor, to be grateful, to find joy in the ordinary. And when you live this way, pleasure becomes a source of strength, a reminder that life is precious, a celebration of your existence. So start small. Choose one moment today. Be fully present in it. Taste your food slowly. Listen deeply to a friend. Feel the sun on your skin. Notice how it changes your mood, how it shifts your energy. This is the path to true pleasure, a pleasure that frees, that heals, that connects you to your deepest self. This is the joy that lasts beyond the moment, the joy that shapes a meaningful life. To live fully is not to feel good all the time. To live fully is to feel everything, the joy and the ache, the certainty and the fear, the peace and the storm. Many people believe they'll be free when they finally feel only pleasure, when all the pain goes away. But that's a lie. Real freedom isn't the absence of pain. It's the courage to feel it without running. Real wholeness isn't about being constantly happy. It's about being real. And that means feeling the highs and the lows. You cannot numb selectively. Here's the hard truth. If you numb your pain, you numb your joy. If you shut down your sorrow, you shut down your capacity to love. Living fully means you don't shut yourself off. You allow yourself to be touched by life. You stop avoiding. You stop clinging. You breathe into discomfort. And you let yourself receive beauty too. Pain has something to teach you. So does joy. And only when you allow both to exist can you live fully. Discipline is not punishment. Living fully also means discipline. But not the kind you fear. Discipline is not about restriction. It's about devotion. Devotion to who you want to become, to what you value, to how you want to live. Without discipline, pleasure becomes chaos. You indulge too much. You escape too often. You forget who you are. But with discipline, pleasure becomes sacred. You earn it. You savor it. You respect it. Discipline helps you hold space for your goals, your healing, your energy, your dreams. It's not about control, it's about alignment. But even with discipline, you must rest. You must care for your body, your spirit, your nervous system. This is where self-care comes in. Self-care is not just spa days and green smoothies. It's boundaries. It's saying no. It's giving yourself space to break down, to cry, to pause, to feel. It's not about perfection. It's about balance. You need both, structure and softness, focus and flow, discipline and compassion. Growth isn't loud. Another piece of living fully is learning to celebrate growth, even when it's small, especially when it's small. Growth is not always big breakthroughs. It's choosing to speak kindly to yourself. It's taking a walk instead of scrolling. It's showing up when it's hard. It's resting without guilt. It's pausing before reacting. These are victories. Don't wait for some dramatic transformation to validate your journey. The small wins are the foundation. They build the resilience, the self-respect, the quiet power. And when you notice them, you become your own ally, your own encourager, your own reminder that change is happening. The meaning is the freedom. Most people think freedom is the ability to do anything, anytime. No rules, no limits, no pain. But that's not freedom. That's chaos. True freedom is found in meaning, in knowing why you get up in the morning, in knowing what you stand for, in living in a way that aligns with your soul. When you live with meaning, you don't need constant distraction. You don't need to chase pleasure endlessly. You don't need to be afraid of pain, because you know what it's all for. You suffer with direction. You rest with purpose. You love with intention. Meaning gives you something to return to when everything else feels uncertain. It's your anchor, your compass, and it often grows out of your greatest struggles. The very things you once tried to escape, the pain you buried, the shame you carried, the heartbreak you endured, these can become your fuel, your message, your path. But only if you choose to live fully, not half awake, not half alive, not numbing, not running. So, what does it look like to live fully? It looks like this. You feel things deeply even when it's uncomfortable. You choose truth over ease. You rest when you need to, but not to avoid your life. You enjoy pleasure but don't worship it. You take care of yourself even when no one is watching. You forgive yourself for your mistakes and keep growing. You ask yourself hard questions. You stay curious about your shadows. You try again and again and again. Living fully is not glamorous. It's not perfect. It's not always loud. It's raw. It's honest. It's brave. And it's worth everything. Final reflection. Nietzsche said, "To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering, but to truly live is to allow suffering and pleasure to coexist, to allow both joy and sorrow to shape you, to walk with discipline but not self-punishment, to find meaning in the mess, to celebrate the climb, to breathe deeply into the now. That's the work. That's the freedom. That's what it means to live fully."